So I don't know, I started making a video and it stopped, but I'm going to talk about it again. I am going to be speaking about the road that I've traveled and the actions that I felt gave me a turn for the worst. Everybody knows I'm going to forever talk about the situations that happened to me working in this particular place. And it's so funny because I watched all of this stuff unfold before my very eyes, and it felt like a movie for me, and nobody listened. And the things that was just said to me and the things that were revealed to me, it just hurt so bad. I know that my last time of turn of honestly really being physically intimate with a man in connection was Timothy Deacon. And it wasn't necessarily, I don't necessarily care how that situation came about. I don't care anymore about that. You know, sometimes when you just have to put it down and understand that the situation is what it is, you just accept it. And you know, it turned out to be something more than just, you know, after the pregnancy and after finding out that he had another family and trying to process those feelings and coming to understand that he was, you know, it was hard. It was more different than with my two prior children. It was different. I felt more connectively inclined, even though I was hurt and I felt devastated. But it was like when you try to wait around for answer or closure, I couldn't understand it. Then I would deal with the mother of his children. Her name was Brittany Zobel. At first, I believe it went to Brittany Anderson. And just hearing all of the things that I would hear about, you know, all the women he would cheat on her with, and he would get phone calls all the time, and it was mail coming to the house for another child. him selling TVs and him doing different things like to feed some kind of habit. I don't know, but I I began to feel separated from him. I began to feel more hurt with the things that she would tell me. All the women, and I mean that we could literally sit back and have some of the best conversations and just kind of deal with it, you know? And I felt like I wasn't, after I had known that situation, and because I had a child with him, I couldn't abandon him. I'd never been a person to abandon anything. I've always had issues with holding on to things and just loving and treating people like I would want to be loved and treated. But so I could not bring myself to sleep with him, or I couldn't bring myself to even go there anymore. And there were plenty of opportunities. There was opportunities to have more children in that situation, but I didn't give in. I didn't. And it hurt me because I held him so high. Even though, our situation was truly messed up and it may not have even felt that way to him. But I know what it felt like to me. It was me connecting with someone for the first time in my life. And just remembering his pictures and remembering how gentle he was with me. It was like it felt unreal. But I had to move on. I felt like I just had to stand by and allow one more person to have their happiness where they were, while I just had to stand by and take care of the kids. So after a while of going back and forth, and then, the phone calls that I would hear her talking about, where she would call to me saying that he had some type of fungus or something like that, that was kind of embarrassing or humiliating. And it was funny because I didn't even really start having issues at all in my life until I started dealing with that. Till I had started dealing with that. And so I started hearing back from her. I felt like my world was devastated. I felt like my world was devastated with the things that I would hear from her and the things that I would begin to hear. And I had never talked to anybody the way that I had been talked to. It's just, or, I can't say what actions that I have done that has been crushing to others, but I just know that just like everybody else, when they get mad, I get mad too. But my intentions has always been to love. And when you get tired of people taking advantage of that, it becomes hard. And I began to deal with a lot of things with a lot of issues on my job. I dealt with a lot of um, after my baby was born, just a lot of different rare stuff that was happening. And it's also funny because when I get to thinking about this stuff, I can remember Brittany saying that a friend that she had a friend um, that she consulted about witchcraft or something with cars or something like that. They keep a whole bunch of money, and they had a whole bunch of money, and that's just how it is. I didn't necessarily care about that stuff because I'm more so been the fool my entire life. I've been the one that loves people that don't necessarily deserve to be loved, but you love them anyway and you care for them, and they get in a better direction and forget about you. That's been my life. And I felt so fed up with it. I felt hurt, and sometimes I wanted him to hurt. I wanted for him to hurt because I tried my best to be loving and forgiving because I wanted him to be around for my child. And I didn't necessarily understand why I had to be having children, even though I felt like I was a failure to my family because of it. But I felt joy for myself because in the first time in a really long time, I felt like I was able to put my love to use with people and begin to feel loved back. So I left. I was dealing with so much in my head and my heart with that situation, and then people acting funny and people doing things, and I just up and left. I didn't run away or escape how they're trying to paint a situation to be. I wasn't in any kind of danger at all. I just needed new scenery. I needed a new path. I needed new things, and because I wasn't getting it where I wasn't getting it. And a lot of people love to try to sit and make it seem like I am just such a bad person when I have given everything. And I was treated so badly. I was treated so badly. And I wanted to be so mad and angry at my family. I wanted to be so mad and angry, but I was so busy in that Bible, learning about that Bible to be loving, be caring, and allow people to just treat you any kind of way, and you take it. It was just always I'm going to just hold on a little while longer, like joy is coming, peace is coming. Just hold on, just keep holding on, just keep holding on. And things would not get no better. In life, I would meet people, and it's like I was looking for to have love. I was looking to have love. And everybody I would come in contact with would play me. Black men that would come in contact and play me and just leave me. And I felt hurt. So I didn't strategically go out and just say I'm going to meet a white man and have a white man's child. I just felt like I would try something different. I would hear this man say, you got to do something different to get something different. And I would literally, I'm like, I'm putting myself out here because I was not received by the black community. I just kind of put myself out there to be I put myself out there to meet different people. For a minute, I felt more accepted and loved than I have ever felt. And I honestly didn't understand why people would speak so many bad things on white people at that point in time. I felt comfortable. I felt respected. I felt cared for. I felt accepted for once. So when you are, finding out about children and girlfriends, and she's telling me about other people that he has had in the house and cheated on her with, and all of those things, when you hear about all of that stuff, and how um, he had an illness or some type of fungus or something like that by his belt buckle. Somebody had to go to the doctor and something about a fungus by his belt buckle. I remember that. And I was like, I don't know nothing about that. And then all of a sudden I started having all these halfway through, like when my son turned um and his before he was 6 or 7, I started having a whole bunch of issues with with my health. I had gone through little health issues, but they weren't major. Like, they weren't major. They were little issues. And they became, after I met him and dealt with him, it was major. The situation was major. And Ireland and Addison, those are the two daughters' names. And my son was a month younger than the youngest daughter of his. So I moved on and I tried to rebuild. I had an issue or illness with my arm too, where my arm was messed up real bad and I couldn't figure out why. Like my arm was messed up for a while, over a year, and I was out of work, so I came, and I was, living in people's houses. I was sleeping on people's floors, just praying and, trying to get my faith and my courage up to just get back up again. So I dealt with, I moved. I kind of just stayed to myself. I met different people and, just tried to grow on different people, trying to get myself. I always spent a lot of time just trying to get myself together before I was able to get with someone else, because I wanted to be someone that could be an actual I wanted to be able to have something to offer that person. Knowing that I was, however old I was, with children coming in the door, I didn't want to be a burden on anyone. So I just wanted to have something to offer. And I would spend more time like just trying to get everything together. And I had finally physically put together a plan that, you know, the looking and trying to date people just wasn't really adding up for me. So it was just okay, we are going to build myself up so that I can take care of my children. And every time I would try to build myself up, things will happen. All kinds of things will happen. I will get to a place where I'm able to like save, or I'm able to have something to give back to my children or someone else, and my car is getting broken into, or things are happening to me, or something is happening and they don't know or understand it. And I would be back at the bottom again. I would be right back at the bottom again. And I would try to pick myself up. And it's like, it's devastating. It's devastating when you are trying to pick yourself up and move on, and you cannot. So I moved forward, and I started noticing halfway through, I started realizing my son started having seizures. And I can't say that it's not nothing that I've ever honestly went through, because I had a sister that had seizures when we were younger, and they were scary. And then I started experiencing rashes, issues with skin, and I never really had those kind of issues before either. But I still pressed. I was in the doctors, getting seen and talked to every single day. Like, not every day, but just trying to stay up on my health. Things going bad, things just going bad. And you don't understand. It's like, and falling deeper and deeper in debt when you're trying to survive. And just praying and nothing's happening. And just keep praying and nothing happens. Fast forward to time, I ended up going to work for Whirlpool, and there's this guy that works there, and his name is Gregory Kiefer. And he reminded me so much of my youngest son's father. He was nice.